as we can accommodate.
It's Tuesday night at Emily Morgan's house. She and a few fellow buffs have gathered, not to study, but to call voters across Colorado.
Have you heard of Amendment 67, which is trying to ban abortion in Colorado?
Amendment 67 aims to protect both the mother and the unborn child if a crime terminates a pregnancy. But to Emily, the real agenda behind Amendment 67 is to outlaw birth control and abortions.
I would not be able to take some of the medications I take now. They would be criminalized, and it would also put me at risk for a pregnancy that I can't support right now.
But even if Amendment 67 gets approved, federal laws will still prevail.
This is a state law constitutional amendment, and state law is always subordinate to federal law, and particularly to federal constitutional law.
That federal law is the 1973 landmark case Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court ruled that, without the mother's health at risk, states cannot regulate the abortion until the final stage of a pregnancy. Professor Nagel said Amendment 67 would only criminalize harm done to a pregnant woman and her unborn child by a third party, not by her doctor or herself.
For decades, courts across the country have upheld Roe versus Wade. The case was controversial 40 years ago, and it is still controversial today. Roe versus Wade is what's really behind the Amendment 67 debate this year.
Personhood USA and Personhood Colorado have the intention of banning abortion in all cases. They've been very clear about that, and they have also stated their intention to use this measure, if it were to pass in Colorado, to challenge the tenets of Roe versus Wade.
This year's Personhood Amendment has a new face, Heather Surovic, who lost her unborn child Brady after a drunk driver crashed into her car 2 years ago. The Colorado state legislature reacted and passed a law that criminalized the unlawful and reckless termination of a pregnancy. But the bill did not grant personhood to unborn children.
It still does not address the issue of the criminal action to the full extent of the law. We want that criminal prosecuted. We need a fetal homicide charge.
Amendment 67 opponents fear such legislation could pave the way to reverse Roe versus Wade. That would open the door to outlaw abortion as well as common forms of birth control, which prevents the fertilized egg from implanting in the uterine wall.
This would be a huge overarching bill that would have huge negative impacts on women especially.
Scared of that outcome, these students will keep swapping text for phone books from now until Election Day. Lars, Gesing, NewsTeam Boulder.